It's time again for another installment of The Basics, and on today's show, I'm dipping back into Magic the Gathering briefly, and I'm answering a question posed to me by a viewer, and that is, what kind of dice do you use in a game of Magic the Gathering, and for what? So, I'm going to show you. Now, if you've been watching my show almost since the beginning, you'll know that I'm a big proponent of using D&D, Dragon Dice, or multi-sided dice in CCGs, and most specifically in Magic the Gathering. But the question today that I'm answering is, what denomination of die to use and for what? So basically, Magic the Gathering, there's a lot of things to do in the game. Besides your upkeep and your creatures, you also have cards that are counters. You have your life points on the side and all types of different cards that can bring up numbers to use in the game. Basically what I do, and a few friends of mine do this as well, and I can't speak for every player of Magic the Gathering out there, but I'll show you what me and my friends do when we play, is that we use the 20-sided die, so a D20 for life points, because you have 20 life points to start off with, unless you're playing some kind of house rules where you have more or less. They're perfect to do that. They're a great way to keep track of your life points just using one die. They're very helpful in that. When it comes to cards from certain sets, so I'm talking Mirage, Portal, Portal 2, any set that deals a lot with counters, I will use between a D4 or a D6. And the D6, I use the ones with just the regular numbers on them. You can use the one with the dragon symbols if you can translate, or even normal D6s or normal dies which have the dots. They're perfect for doing counters because most counters don't go past a certain number. In case they do, or if you have a lot of counters, then you would step up to the 8-sided die, or D8. Especially if you're dealing with multiple cards and you only have, say, one set of dragon dice on you, then you can use more than the 2 or 3 D6s that come with the set. And you can even use a D4 and D8 at the same time if that's all you have. I don't touch D10s or D12s in regards to Magic the Gathering. They're too high a denomination to use in the normal gameplay for any cards. They are too low to use as a life point total, and there's no point using more than one die when you can do your life all on a D20, as I said earlier. So that is the rule of thumb that me and my friends use. You are free to come up with your own suggestions and ideas of how to modify dice for this game. There are some iterations out there, and you'll also see a lot of different denominations of dice used in other CCGs. Now, that being said, if you're playing Magic the Gathering, going to a friend's house, a tournament, whatever, I would suggest you carry at least 2 sets of dragon dice on you at all times. Why? Because it doesn't make sense just to have one set, especially if you somehow manage to lose that set, or if something happens to it, or if your other player does not have his own set of dice and could really use them in the game, you can lend him one of yours. I usually carry 2 sets in my deck box. I have one in here, and I have another in a little plastic container that you've probably seen on a previous episode that comes with me as well. Otherwise, I just take my big honkin' Crown Royal bag full of dice and just go from there, because it's easier just to scoop up the whole bag and take it with me. That's all. It's that simple. Have a great day, everybody.